As I mentioned before, whoever is here for the first time, it is a part of a bigger seminar, but each one of those workshop stand by itself. So if you have not participated in a previous one, it's okay. They're not building on top of each other. Okay. So this is the fourth stop in the roadmap to success, and it's understanding the science behind how we make decisions in the NLP style. Okay. So you're going to get a formula of understanding how we do stuff in our head, because most of the time we're just doing stuff consciously without understanding how it's happening in the unconscious mind. And just by breaking it down, it's going to give you a better understanding and a better control of how you make your decision. Okay, so this is what we're going to go through today. We're going to go through the formula of how we make decision, which is TOTE. And we're going to talk about what happens subconsciously when we need to make a decision, and what is the role of our emotions in decision making. And we're going to put everything we learn into test. Now, I did put in the chat, I don't know if you can see it. If not, I'll put it again, the workbook. So if you haven't downloaded it, I suggest you do, because that is the meat of this workshop. And I want you to think right now or in the middle about a big life decision or just a big decision that you want to make, because we're going to put it, all of that, everything that you're learning right now, we're going to put it into this workbook. Okay, we're starting, guys. So decision is the conclusion or resolution reached after consideration. Okay, pretty spot on. We all know that. Okay, now we're getting into what's going on in our subconscious mind. So what happens when you need to make a decision? There's a trigger. Now we have an operating system, then we test it. An exit means we made a decision. Okay, this is a very simple formula. But obviously, once we need to start making a decision, it's not as simple, right? Because there's so many elements into making an actual decision and hit the trigger and pull the trigger. So we're going to start going one by one. If you have any questions, please put them in the text, in the messages. And okay, so trigger. There's a trigger. Okay, this is what happens when we make a decision. And I'm going to break it down and make it in simple examples. But for now, just understand what is a trigger. So there's a trigger that promotes us to take action. For example, I find myself in a position where I have to make a decision. I need to make a decision if I'm going to buy that object. Okay, this is the trigger. Now, how does the trigger can happen? We'll go into it right now. How do you know it's time to start? How do you know it's time to start to make a decision? Usually it's either you see something or you hear something or you feel something. Okay, so let's go into, I want to buy a shirt. I have my operating system, right? But now I'm going to explain it the way it is. So it's either you walked in the mall and you saw a shirt and you say, hey, this is a pretty shirt. I want to go in and buy it, right? This is where it starts. That's a trigger. All of them make you feel something, by the way. Or you heard there's a great sale at Macy's and you really want to go check that sale out because a friend told you that they have a huge sale. Or you feel like, I don't know, the shirt you have on is getting old and it's time to buy new shirts or new wardrobe for yourself, right? Or maybe you lost weight and it's time to buy new clothes. So this is a feeling. So what happens in our unconscious mind, we are now at the present state and we want to achieve the desired state. Now, what is the desired state? The desired state is I want to make a decision. Am I going to buy the shirt or not? Okay. So for example, we need to determine whether or not we will purchase the product. And everything is going to fall into place in a minute. So we test if the desired state and the present states are equal. What does that mean? I need to make a decision if I'm going to buy that object. At present, I don't know yet. So this is what happens next. This is where everything happens. The operation system. The operation system is our internal dialogue. We don't know that we're doing it consciously. It happens subconsciously. I am bringing it now into your conscious mind. So this will make your life a lot easier when you do need to make a decision, small, big, it doesn't matter what it is. So usually the operation system will go into either remembering, creating, or gathering information. The criteria would be like, it feels good, it will give me value. Now we're talking about the shirt, right? I visualize myself using the object. It reminds me of something I had before and I loved it. So if you go now to the shirt, for example, this is my personal operating system, right? Everybody has a different one. So for example, I'm walking in the mall and I walk into a store and I see a dress that I like or a shirt that I like, right? That's triggering me. I really like that shirt. I want to see if I'm going to buy it or not. Now, this is where the criteria starts falling into place, the operation system. Trigger was I saw the shirt. The feeling was I'm testing it. Yeah, I like it, but now it needs to answer all of these criteria in order for me to buy that shirt. My personal criteria are, it has to be on sale, so it has to be good value. For me, it has to match a lot of things in my closet, so it's going to be timeless. It has to be in good quality, and I will imagine myself matching it with stuff that I have in my closet. Once it checked all of these 4 criteria, I am going to test it again. I'm like, oh, it feels good. It's right. It answers all of my criteria. I'm going to exit. I'm going to buy the shirt. But let's say it answered 3 of my criteria, but it was not the right price. I will not buy the shirt. Does that make sense, guys? Give me thumbs up just so you're following and you're with me. Perfect. Okay. So this is the second test. The second test is when I test it again and it answered all of my 4 criteria, my personal criteria of buying a shirt. If it feels right, and it's a feeling inside, right? Think about it. When you make a decision, it's not about the decision itself. It's about how it makes you feel. You want to make sure you made the right decision. This is what we all want. We all want to make sure we're making the right decision, right? And now, so this is where we buy. The exit is when we make the decision. So it happens when the desired state and the present state are equal. And the desired state, I need to make a decision if I'm going to buy the shirt. Present state, my operation met all of my criteria and checked all of my boxes. Decision met, I bought the shirt. Now, this is a very simple formula, right? But what happens when we go into bigger decisions? This is where it gets a little bit tricky. So this is a simple operation system. Trigger, operation system is right here. What are the criteria that needs to be met in order for you to make a decision? You test it, it feels right, you make a decision. Simple formula, right? Easy peasy. I wish it was that easy when we actually need to make decisions, right? Now, that's what happens when we're staying in a loop. There's a trigger, and now I can take it to something bigger. Let's take it to, I want to change my profession. I want to do something else with my life. I want to quit my job and go to a different job. Those are big life decisions, right? The trigger might be emotional, meaning I hate my place, I don't like my job, I don't like the people I work with. But then there is the operation system. And in the operation system, it could be like, I get paid, my commute is very close to home. What else could be a criteria over there? I love my job, so I don't know. So it's hard for me to go there. Colleagues. Okay, so when you get to something like this and you're testing it, you keep on testing the same thing, because what happens is that you test it and it doesn't feel right because not all of the criteria has been met, meaning the pay, for example, in this specific example, the pay is really high. And I'm afraid that in my new job, I'm not going to get paid as high because I'm going to have to start over again. So most likely, I'm going to keep on doing the same open loop. So the trigger will come again. I'm going to silence it. I'm going to say, oh, but the pay is good. I should stay. But then that feeling of, I hate this place, I don't want to be here, is going to come again. I'm going to do the operation. I'm going to test if it's feel right. It still doesn't feel right because I'm afraid to lose that benefit of getting paid and working so hard to get what I got. So I'm saying in an open loop. Does that make sense? I'm going to keep on going in circles until either I can't stand my job anymore and it doesn't matter. So the criteria of money is not important anymore. Or I'm just going to keep staying in an open loop and I'm never going to make a decision. But that feeling of me wanting to go will stay there forever. We're just going to quiet it down for a little bit and then it will arise again. And I think it happens to all of us in some point of life. So this is an open loop. An open loop is we're not making a decision, but the feeling is constantly there because we work only by emotions. People think we make conscious decisions. It's not true. We only make a decision when it feels internally right for us, when all of the criteria are met. So not making a decision is also a decision. And there's something I want to talk about decisions. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Let me see. There's a little bit of messages. Okay, perfect. So I want to talk a little bit about decisions. Decisions in general. I'm just going to do that. Perfect. Perfect. So there's something about decisions that a lot of people don't like making decisions, because when you make a decision, it's either you're going to get butchered for it or you're going to get praised for it. And a lot of people don't want to be in a place of making decisions because then there's consequences. So a lot of people stay where they are, or some people love working 9 to 5, right? And love working for somebody because they don't need to make the decisions. They're not going to be on the hook if they made a wrong decision, right? And it's not right or wrong. It is what it is. There is no what's better. But that's the main thing that I've noticed, that a lot of people are afraid of making big decisions because either they're not willing to endure temporary discomfort for permanent success, and they don't want to make mistakes. Because once you make decisions, yeah, sometimes there's going to be mistakes that you're going to make along the way, but those will help you grow as well. So this is the main thing about decision making, and how can we make easier decisions? This is what this whole workshop is about. How can we have a formula that helps us to put big decisions into a paper and see if it meets all of our inner criterias? Okay. So I'm going to share again. So how can this process help you make big or small decisions? And now we're going to go straight to the workbook. This is going to be phenomenal. So if you can all open the workbook for me, please. Okay, so just give me a thumbs up that everybody has their workbook. Perfect. You can also use the emojis or whatever, so I'll know. And let me see. Hold on, there we go. Okay, perfect. Like I asked you before, guys, if you can think of a decision you want to make, preferably a big decision, whatever it is. If not, it could be a small decision as well. And just write it down for yourself. What is the decision you want to make? Or what are you contemplating about, debating about? Maybe it's, I don't know, moving to a new country, or maybe change your job, or leave your spouse, or start again. Whatever it is for you, we all have, maybe, I don't know, start working out. That's also a big decision for some people, right? Because they don't want to work out, but it's a big decision to start losing a lot of weight or stop smoking, whatever it is for you. So just give me thumbs up when you all have like a big decision, so I'll know we're on the right track. And I want you to look at this wheel, and you're going to fill out how this decision will affect each part of the wheel 3 months from now. So if it will stay the same, just look at the key and put whatever it is. If it goes up, just put a plus. If it goes down by a lot, double plus. If it goes down, minus. Go down by a lot, double minus it. And I'm going to give it about 2 minutes. I don't think we need more than that. And when you're done, just use the emoji over there just to give me a thumbs up so I'll know everybody is done.
You see the question row? How can I know it will affect it?
No, I'm
In the
gonna
chat?
stop sharing for a second because if not, I cannot see the questions. Let me see. Thank you.
Just one, it just came in. It's asking how to know to do the plus or minus based on the decision.
Okay, so wait, I can't see the messages. Why not?
There's just one at the end. It says, how can I know how it will affect?
So, okay, so how can I know how it will affect the,
I think each area of the life wheel.
yeah,
She
so
said,
for
yeah.
example, let's say let me share the screen so I'll see it. Okay, hold on, sorry. Okay, so let's say my decision is to move to a new state or country, okay? So what I would when I look at this wheel, I would say, okay, so let's say I'm right now living in a cold place and it's snowing all the time and I have only 3 months of summer and most of the time it's gloomy and raining. So what will it do to my mental health? Me specifically, it will probably go up by a lot. So I would put 2 pluses. What will it do to my friends and family? Probably it will go down because I'm going to have to start over again, especially if I'm moving far from family and I don't have friends over there in the new place. So this will go down by a lot. What will it do to the fun and recreation? Probably go up by a lot because it's going to be sunny where I'm moving. Maybe there's going to be an ocean, so I can do a lot more stuff. What will it do to my romance? Specifically to me, probably at the beginning, when you move to a new place and you have a spouse, there's a lot of challenges, so it will go down. Does that make sense? Or my personal growth, for me, probably it will go up because I have new challenges that I need to deal with, which means that I have to grow and so on. What will it do to my money at the beginning? Probably go down. Why? Because I have to buy everything new. There's the moving. There's all the things that are involved in moving to a new place. So it's really individual, but this is how you would fill this circle. Why is the download wheel document start at page 1? Where are the pages 1 to 11? There are no 11. There's supposed to be only 3, I think, or 4 pages at the wheel. Again, it is a part of a full workbook. Kathy, when you press it, does it show all the 4 pages in general? It should.
Yeah, I think it's what you were just about to explain, that
Can't
the
hear
full
you.
workbook.
You're muted. Oh, or I can
Still?
hear. No, it's me. What?
Yeah, it was what you were about to just explain, I think. The full workbook would be like 14 pages. So if you're only seeing like number 11 through 14, it's just that's the portion for this workshop.
Okay, perfect.
But it does.
Is this a downloadable book?
Yeah, you can, when you click not the whole book, but this section, if you click the link, you can actually print it.
Oh, could you tell me where I can find a link? Sorry about that, but
Yeah, no, of course. I'm
okay.
gonna put it right here in the.
Oh, thanks a lot. Thank you so much.
Of course.
And even if you can't print right now or anything, you could try to draw a quick circle or practice it a little bit more later too with decisions. But it's a guide that if you did get to print it,
Yeah.
you have it.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Yes, Jim.
You're muted.
Yeah, you need to unmute.
Sorry. Is there a way to purchase 1 through 14?
The 1 through 14, it won't do any good to purchase them because if you don't go through the workshops, then you wouldn't know what to do with them. But later on, I might just do the whole thing together. It's just a really long one. And then I can provide you with a whole 14 pages, but they won't do any good by themselves.
I'm very familiar with the wheel. I'm a certified coach and this has been around, but I really do what you're asking about the pluses and minuses. I think that's a very good idea. So I'll just shut up and keep listening.
Thank you. Yeah, so this is, by the way, that part where I was brainstorming with Kathy and we're thinking, how are we going to put it into action? How can people actually use that TOTE into making big decisions or decisions in general? And this is when Kathy had this like genius idea. She's like, why won't we just put it on the life wheel? The wheel of life, and then it developed into the plus and the minuses and all that. Yeah, so that I'm really happy with the results we got here, because it does give you understanding of what this decision will, what are the consequences of the decision, and is it worth it for you to make this decision? So just let me know, everybody, when you're done. Give me a thumbs up on your screen, use the emoji, perfect. So I know I'm going to give it maybe 30 more seconds. And we'll go from there. Okay, so we're gonna.
Can I say something?
Yeah, of course.
I think also there is also a difference between, because you said, for instance, moving to another country. If I like the country more, my health will be up, and also my relations, family reaction, and so on. But this would be more, I think, a year from now, because in the first 3 months.
Hold on, I love where you're going with it. I love where you're going with it. And this is where we're going to go next.
But
So,
we're doing now the 3 months or
yes,
a year?
We're doing
Only
the 3
3
months. Yeah, we're just doing the 3 months for now.
Okay, because in the first 3 months, I see more stress and less positive things.
Yes. You're ahead of the game.
I see 3 years of stress.
3 years of stress. We don't want that. 3 years of stress is not good in any condition.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah.
Okay, so now let's go and hold on. I'm just trying to. Okay, there we are. I'm on the Zoom. Let me share the screen and we'll go to this. Okay, so now we're going to go to the next one, which is fill out how the same decision will affect each part of your will a year from now. So at the beginning, we did 3 months. Now we're going to do a year projected into the future. Yeah, Ahmed said, I think majority of us can relate to moving, definitely. Everybody here are expats, so moved to a different country and had to leave a lot of things behind. So yeah, I think we're all very brave here. It is not a side story while you're thinking. My good friend is from Chicago and he was born and raised in Chicago. And he just married his wife and she's from Russia. And she used to work on the cruise ship for a long time. And they just got married here. And I just visited them. And I was almost sitting with them and it was funny. They're like, we feel like we were in couples therapy because he's saying one thing and she's saying one thing. And I'm like mitigating between the two of them. Now I can understand her because I moved from a country 17 years ago. And he keeps on saying, yeah, I can understand what it is for her. And then I was like, I don't think you can. I don't think you can understand what it is to move to a different country where you do not speak fully the language, you do not understand the jokes, and you come from a completely different place. And then I told him, imagine right now that you're moving to, let's say, Germany, and you're starting over again. And you don't understand the language as much. You definitely don't understand their jokes. And you're in a new culture. Can you really fully comprehend what it is to move to a new country? And this is the moment where something fell in his head. It's like a chip fell and he's okay, now I can understand. Now I can imagine myself like out of everything that I know and need to start again. Yep, we're all experts. And we all did it. Okay, so again, just communicate with me when you're done so we can put thumbs up. It shouldn't take too long. And if you have any questions, just feed them in the text. Thank you. Perfect. Dana is saying I have my minuses. Okay. And now you're going to put everything together and you see. So this would be an example for you if you want to share later on what is your decision that you put over there. That means that most of the things are not answering your criteria. So it's not worth it for you internally to make the decision. Okay, so let's go to the next page. No, let me see if I'm actually, no. So let me go back. Okay, so now we're at the last page, which I don't have over here. So I'm going to stop sharing. You have that page, which is the page, not the page, the third page. I'm sorry. Let me stop sharing. So right now, look at the third page where you need to put your minuses and pluses, and you have a key over there, which how many points each one worth, and you can summarize it at the end. So you have one column that is 3 months, one column that is 1 year, and then the summarize at the end of it. And let me open mine because I don't remember how it looks. Let's see. Yes, so now I can see it. Place in the chart below how the decision will affect your life will, use the life will you filled earlier. Sum the overall effect this decision will have on your life by comparing what changed in your will from 3 months to a year.
But sorry, can you explain how we do the sum? Just putting the two signs together or the sum?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Can you explain how we do the sum? Just putting the signs together or how we do?
So if you look at the bottom, the
Mm.
first column is 3 months from now. And then at the bottom, 3 months from now, from the decision, if you had 1 plus, it's going to be +1. Okay. It's going to be +1. If it's up by a lot, you're going to add 2. Does that make sense? If it's the same, you're not going to add a number. And you do that with the 3 months, do that with the year, and then summarize the total of each category. Personal growth, let's say 3 months it was -2, and then after a year it was +2. So the summarize would be 0. Did that answer your question?
I just put always minus or plus or equal, but we could have put -1 or -2 or +1 +2.
Yeah, so at the will, if it stays the same, you put equal. If it goes up, you put 1 plus. If you goes by a lot, you put 2 pluses. If it goes down, 1 minus. If it goes down by a lot, you put 2 minuses.
Okay.
So somebody wrote here, life is a risk, and this process seems to want to make it calculated risk, in my humble opinion. This process, I agree, of course, life is a risk. I am just showing what happens in our unconscious mind of how we make decisions. So it's a formula that now you can put it in your conscious mind and understand what's going on internally before you make a decision. That is what this process is here to kind of teach you or give you tools to use it in the future. And everybody's different. Some people like taking risks. And that's part of their criteria. Their criteria, if there's excitement, I'm in. If there's no excitement, it doesn't answer my criteria. Some people are more safe. And if there's no safety, it doesn't answer this criteria, they won't make the move. So this is, again, really depends on what your criteria is. And when you're done, just let me know that you're done so we can keep going. And then we're going to open it for discussion a little bit. And Lawrence just said over here, Inus Plus approach is a quicker definitely than procrastinating on figuring out everything. Yeah, thank you. It definitely is. It's just something that you can use, a tool that you can use that's going to help you make decisions faster instead of just working without understanding what is stopping you from making the decision. So even if the decision is not to move forward, at least you're going to close that loop that stays open. You understand why you decided not to go forward, or you have decided to go forward, if that makes any sense. So again, take it as a tool you can use if you choose to use it. And I think, let's see. Oh, perfect. There it is. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Okay, perfect.
Sorry,
So,
with physical, I wanted to ask, with physical environment, you think also people, nature,
I'm sorry, can you
everything?
repeat that?
With physical environment, do you mean people, nature, or work, or?
So what it depends on. Physical environment is really where you are physically. So if let's say for your decision, physical environment would be to move to another workspace or with different people. So this is your physical environment in this specific time of the decision, right? If it's moving to a new country, so it's probably the country you're moving for. So I would take physical environments as really compared to your decision that you're making. Because if it's changing your workspace or moving to a new company, yes, your physical environment changed with this decision that you made. Do this. And now I'm going to ask you, because this is, we're talking about more of big decisions, right? It's life-changing decisions usually when we talk about, those are the ones that we're hesitant to pull the trigger on because there's so many criteria that needs to be met, and it's very scary to do something that you have never done before. So I'll ask you, what is scarier? Waking up and realizing you're in the same place a year from now, in 2 years, or your whole life, just because you didn't make a decision, or taking action and going through the growing pains and reap the rewards and benefits. You can enjoy lack of inner conflict and see the fruits of your labor. So that's a big one, the inner conflict, right? It's like I said before, our inner conflict is the one that I hate my job. I'm just giving it an example because it's easy. I hate my job, but I love the money. As there's always going to be a push-pull. Like, I love the money, but internally, I hate my job. I cannot stand the people I'm going to work with. I'm not happy. Initially, this is here to help you to put everything in criteria and see that in 3 months from now, it's going to be super hard. If you look at your chart and what we did, in most cases, it really depends. It doesn't have to be like that. But you see that the first 3 months are the hardest month because you're getting out of so many comfort zones. So you might see more minuses. But if you project to a year from now, that it's worth going through the growing pains, and some of the minuses you had on your wheel are going to go up now. So it's just to give you a mirror that, yeah, it's going to be hard at the beginning, but once you've made a decision and you've made it a year into it, you're probably going to see things are going to get better. Because if we move to a new country or we go to a new job, so again, probably our friends and family, unless we have somebody on the other side, it's going to go down because you're going to have to meet new people. You're going to have to meet new friends. You're going to have to make new connections. But if you project it to a year from now, then you start seeing that it's getting better. Same thing with changing jobs. Maybe at the beginning, your pay will go down, but initially it will go up. Or so it really fluctuates between whatever is the decision. So now I want to open the floor and kind of talk about it. If somebody wants to share what is the decision that he's talking about, and in general, what did you notice once you've done the 3 months and then the year? Any aha moments or any understandings, or did it help you in some way to have a different take on decision making? Not all together. Anybody want to take the mic? Let's see. Who's raising the hand? Yeah. Lawrence, of course. How are you doing, Lawrence?
I'm doing good. I'm doing very good. This approach actually, rather than coloring the different areas, is so much more quicker. I also found that, okay, now I need to flesh out the other parts that I haven't knuckled down, but for me, it's a good motivator. So if I work on each of those sections within the next 3 months, I'll know where I'm going to be, say, another 6 months or 9 months from today. So I actually put a date, like today, the 2nd of May, what's going to happen in 3 months' time. So 2nd of August, am I going to move forward, or am I going to need to flesh out things like, am I going to be screwing up my relationship with my daughter, or am I going to make it more balanced if I just devote some time every day for the next 3 months to look at each of those sections? So I think it's a more measured approach for me than doing a scattergun approach of, yeah, let's do physical red, green, yellow, or whatever.
Because it's measurable.
Yes, it's far more
You
measurable
can
and
grasp
far more
it.
precise. Yeah.
Versus it's very vague and you don't know
Yeah.
what are the benefits that are going to be initially by you
Yeah.
making a sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
Because making a big decision is usually you're sacrificing something that you're comfortable in, that you've
Yeah.
already got into your comfort zone. And usually making big decisions, meaning get out of your comfort zone big time.
Yeah, definitely. And
Thank you, Lawrence. That was
No problem.
good. Paula?
Yeah, I can say that the first 3 months are harder because I had all minus, most of them. And then in 1 year from now, still I have more plus, but still because my decision was like changing the country, so going back to my country, to Italy, for instance. And then I have pluses in fun and recreation, family and friends, perhaps mental health also, I think, romance, but big minuses in career and money. And this is stopping me from doing this change. But I don't know, maybe in all I have to see the balance. But for now, even if I have many pluses in fun, recreation, romance, relationship, friends, family, I have big minuses in career and money. And then still that didn't help that much, because then I say now, okay, and then what shall I choose at the end?
So now this is the inner conflict we're talking about. So that now it's putting into awareness. Now you're actually aware of it. Maybe you were unconsciously aware of this, but now you can see it in front of you. And now there's something, I mean, this is something different, but there's something that's called core values, which pretty much we usually, not usually, all people have about 5 core values. And okay, I'm going to go sidetrack for a second. So you have 5 core values. And for me, for example, I'll show you my core values. It will make sense. Let me go grab them. So those are my core values. You extract them. You're probably seeing it backwards, but anyway, it's love, security, energy, harmony, and balance, which I got them extracted. But the reason I'm showing it to you is when one of our core values is not in place. So let's say right now I am working at a company and I have security over there. I do have balance over there. I do feel loved over there, but one of my core values, for example, is energy and harmony. They're off. They're not in place. I don't like the energy in the place, and the harmony is really bad in the place. So no matter what, eventually my core values will win and I would leave the job, because my core values is what I believe in. For example, if one of your core values is family or connection, and where you are now, there's no connection or family, initially it will eat inside of you until you make a decision. Does that make sense? So this is also something you want to put on the balance over there. How much is making money in your career important to you and fills your cup to be happy versus being with people you love, with friends, with family, with fun, or whatever it is. But at least now you know what it is, and you can ask yourself, is it worth the price? And is the price that horrible? Because if right now you're there, but you're not happy, you're making money and you have a career, but you're not happy, then what's the point?
Yeah, but at the same time, another point for me is also time, because yeah, I would gain relationships, friends, but I would have less time for that, I think, because with my job now in Switzerland, I can manage to have more free time to travel more. Maybe in the other place, so in my country, I would have these benefits like friendships, family, but I don't have so much time for them because I have to work more in order to stay there, to live there.
So that's another thing in your category, time.
Time, yeah.
So how much time is important to you? So here I would recommend some kind of a mind shift of how can you meet the need of seeing your family more or have friends more and still stay at where you are. Maybe travel a lot more. So find a balance in order to fit that side of you. So it doesn't have to be black and white. But again, I'm just giving you in general right now. But at least now, and it doesn't have to be black or white. There's always a gray area, which maybe you can find new connections over there that will answer it and put the time and effort into making those connections. Maybe you're blocked, or do you think you cannot find friends like this? I don't know. I'm just saying in general. Was that helpful at all?
Maybe traveling would help.
Maybe
If I
more
have more
travel, because
time.
now you say you make more money and you get more time. So maybe you know that if you travel back home or to your friend or whatever it is, 3 times a year, it will fill your cup and give you whatever you need in order to stay where you are right now, because you're always waiting for it. And when you go on vacation in general, it's not like living in a place. It's different.
Yeah.
When you go on vacation, everybody make the time for you. You're on a pedestal. Everyone wants to be around you. When you
That's
really
another
go back
thing.
home and you live back home, people don't have time for you.
Yeah, this is another thing, Ubek, because when I go there on holiday, I see a reality, but I know that if I live there, it will be different.
How do I think about things today versus yesterday? That's how
Somebody,
you grow apart, and now your
okay.
values don't align.
I just did.
The
Somebody has his mic on. Okay,
And then
perfect. It's off.
number one mindset shift you need to make to increase.
It is.
Yeah, but Iris, are you talking? Because I couldn't hear.
Okay, I see someone just sent me a private message. I will come back to you in just a moment. I need to read it.
I don't know.
So
yeah,
even traveling there, I don't know really the reality, like living there. So this is also risky, scaring. Because maybe I imagine now it would be better, but maybe not.
that's another thing. It's a reality check, right? So in your head now, when you put everything in the criteria, you're saying I'm going to have less time. So now it's just a question of something inside of you that misses home, and how can you address that in a way that it doesn't have to be I'm moving and leaving everything, just to fit that part of you. That would be my recommendation from the little that I know. Anybody
Yeah.
else?
Thanks.
No, you're welcome. Kathy, you want to share yours? Kathy always have good
Yeah.
stuff to say.
I was going to ask one question. It's probably similar to her weighing out moving. Would she also look at her career too, not knowing your career specifically right now, but I don't know. It could be a very niche career where, okay, you can only do certain things. Or could there be sorry, guys, I was just sick. Could there be a side hustle? Could there be like, I want to be an entrepreneur now. I don't know if it's a 9 to 5. Just does it make sense to also look at that area too, to see how much the career is fulfilling besides possibly salary and time? I don't know. I don't know how many areas to look at, or if that makes it complicated, but because that's my mindset to more change my career sometimes. First, like I love moving. I moved to Italy myself, and I moved a lot of places. So I don't know if that's another area that could be looked at through going through this process as well to maybe solve it. But what's your opinion, Ro?
Can you repeat this really quick? Because I was sidetracked over here.
Oh, just essentially, would she also look at the career area? I know we don't know the specifics of, maybe her career is just like one path, 9 to 5, and you're building in a certain place. If not, could there be a side hustle? Could there be another area to look in? Maybe I'll be an entrepreneur. Maybe I'll build something. Okay, I lose money in 3 months, but I gain money in a year, stuff like that. And then you can move home. Is it another area to look at for possibility?
Again,
Is what-
over there, she needs to make a decision if it's burning inside of her enough that she wants to move back home. And now she needs to make a plan of having time at home and having money at home. And that's
Right.
doable. It's just, are you willing to do what it takes to get there? Are you willing to put in the work and build a side hustle or build something while you're in there? So in 2 years from now, you know, you can move back home, but you also have time and you also have money. So that's another approach, right? But the question is initially always, are you willing to do what needs to be done in order to get there? And the time to get there, usually this is where everything needs to be, you need to get out of your comfort zone. You need to get out of everything that you're used to and make mistakes and fail and succeed and fail. Like success is not like that. This is not success. People think that success is just a one line that goes up. Success is more like this. Until you get there. So it's a good mindset to take that when you want to achieve something, you have to understand it's not just going to be one line up. It's going to be up, down, plateau, up again until you get to where you want. And probably when you get to where you want, you're going to have a new place you want to go to, because this is how we're wired. Then we want more. We want something different. It's just making a decision. So again, I hope, Kathy, that was a very good approach. And it's true. Are you willing to do whatever needs to be done in order to get to where you want? And that's going to be putting the work.
And Kathy's suggestion would be like to build a new business in order to get more money and have time to do an own business, my own business.
Yeah. And in order to do that, you're going to have to acquire, you're going to want to acquire a lot of new skills. because people say, oh, I'm going to change my career. But now you have to master so many new things and you have to fail at so many new things. And this is where usually people give up. So
But
it's
if I
taking into that.
already,
Huh?
if I already know that I don't have my own business, so I will have to look for another job as employee.
Yeah. Or you can find another job that you think is going to give you the money that you want, or build a side hustle that you can offer over there, or even an online business, or I don't know what is your expertise, or change careers and start studying something completely new that in the market over there, you can make more money with it and will buy you time and freedom. So there is research involved right now as well, right? Or I don't know, maybe you have a passion and you can make it into a business. But it's again, making a decision. Am I making the decision to take my passion and turn it into a business? Which a lot of the times when people do that, they realize they don't like it anymore because now it's not a hobby.
Yeah,
But-
yeah, that's the risk. Your passion, if it becomes your work, then it's not a passion anymore, maybe.
Sometimes, because when you're an entrepreneur, you wear so many hats. You have to be the business owner, you have to be the boss, you have to be the one that gives service, you have to be the one that deals with the money, you have to do everything. And then you're not just doing what you love, you're running a business. So it really depends. Being in an entrepreneur mindset is completely different than being in a 9-to-5, and neither one of them is better. It's whatever is good for you, whatever makes you happy. And okay. Somebody asked here if you can recommend it for small decisions. Most definitely, you can recommend for small decisions. And Ahmed, I'm gonna ask you in a second. So that's a good example, and I do it unconsciously already. So let's say, and this is a very small decision, which I love food, and it's what to eat. Usually, my biggest debate of the day is what am I gonna eat today? So let's say a decision, I'm hungry right now. So let's say the trigger is, remember, trigger, operate, test, exit, right? So the trigger is I feel hungry. That's a feeling. Now the operation system is I see two images. I see an image of a hamburger, which I'm really craving right now. And then I see an image of a salad, right? This is what I'm seeing. And now my operation system starts to go in place. Me specifically, I know if I'm going to eat a hamburger, I'm going to feel heavy. My body doesn't like red meat, and it's just going to not make me feel good, but I really want it. I'm craving it, right? And then I'm going to go. So it didn't answer 3 of my criteria. The only criteria that it answered, that is I'm craving it. Now I'm going to go into the salad. I love veggies. Answers my criteria of I love it. It's tasty for me. It's going to make me feel light. I'm going to have a beautiful day, keep on working. And it's really healthy for me. So it answers 3 criteria, checked all the boxes. I'm probably going to choose the salad. Does that make sense for small decisions? Anything. You can give me an example. Give me an example of a small decision. Go work out. That's a small decision as well, right? Do I go work out? Do I not go work out? So now you need to understand what is your operating system, because everybody has a different one. This is where you want to write your criteria and understand what's going internally. So if I want to go work out and I know I have, let's say I have, okay, this is a good example. I decided that it was a smart idea to sign up, and it's a real story, to a place that's called Orange Theory. And this is high cardio workout. I absolutely hate cardio. Absolutely hate cardio. I do not like the treadmill. I do not like my heartbeat going up, not by a little. But I've said to myself, oh, you need it for yourself. Cardio is good for you. So I made a decision and I signed up. I signed up, went there for, I don't know, a month. And at the end of it, I quit. So I went against my criterias, right? And I still made the decision, which I'm proud of myself that I did. But it didn't answer the main, and it didn't answer a lot of criterias, by the way. I hate loud music. And these places, they're blasting their speakers with loud music. There's a girl with a Madonna that screams at you. On top of it, everybody has a watch that tells them in a big screen specifically to them, what is their heart rate, how many calories are they burning, how are other people doing, and comparing it, which is everything I hate. So when I'm thinking about it, because I hate doing working, I'm working out, I'm not competing with anybody. Why are people competing? I'm competing with myself, right? But I quit because it didn't answer any of those criteria. And I didn't feel bad when I quit. I didn't call myself a quitter. It doesn't answer my criteria. I do Pilates, which is completely the opposite. I'm a Pilates girl. So it's silent. There's no mirrors. You don't need to see yourself because that's not what I'm going to work out. And it's very quiet and it's strength workout. So it also helps you to be a little bit more compassionate about yourself and not, for example, call yourself a quitter. Because now I understand that I didn't continue because it is completely not answering my operation system. And that's why I exit and I made a decision. So here the decision was to quit. That's also a decision. To quit is also a decision and it's fine. Yeah, I hope that was a good example. Ahmed, sorry, floor is yours. We cannot hear you. Yeah, take it down. Speak. Maybe it's me. Can you hear him? No, we cannot hear you.
Is it okay? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you. Great. First of all, I would like to thank you and Kathy for organizing this workshop. It was much needed in my life at this point of time. First of all, there's something I am struggling with, so I have a question, and then I will, if you are okay, and then I will share my story, which is pretty much similar to one which Paula described earlier. In terms of, let's say, for example, I have been planning, or I have been taking this decision of quitting smoking, let's say. All right. There's a mental process. I never had this exercise before. So there was a mental process that it's bad for my health and all of that. But like, it's just the craving which kept me coming back and smoking a cigarette again and again. Okay. So I left it, like I had quit for 3 or 4 times, but I kept on coming back to smoking. So how do I keep these things in my conscious mind always, that I have taken a decision, all right, and I need to stick to it, for example?
So that's a very good question. Smoking and habits are a little bit more complicated because there's a secondary gain of you smoking. So it's more in the unconscious mind, and mostly it is connected to whatever the cigarette does to you, where it takes you. I used to smoke as well, and I know exactly where it takes me. And I know I used to smoke when I was young, 15, 16, which was my freedom time, right? It was so much fun. I was with my best friend and we used to smoke Parliament. And I know consciously now that every time I want to smoke, or when I wanted to smoke, it would take me this action, and this specific cigarette, because it's Parliament, would take me to those memories, and I would feel freedom. I would feel alive again. It changes. So I would suggest to understand, either do hypnotherapy, which is phenomenal for it, or understand, what is this cigarette giving you? Is it making you relax because it's taking you to a time where you had no worries? So it really depends, because there's a secondary gain of either overeating, or whatever it is. So putting in this decision over here consciously, it makes sense because you're seeing the difference, but there is something blocking you unconsciously from actually letting it go, because there's a secondary gain in there that is constantly being answered once you're smoking.
Exactly. Thank you very much. So coming back to the major part of the discussion, for example, a year and a half ago, I had this point in my life where I had to take a decision that I'm doing good in my career, I'm doing good financially, but I was away from my home country, and I was away from my parents and my family and my friends. I did a little, not a detailed version of this, but a very minor exercise where I said to myself that, okay, if I'm going back to my home country, I will be having a family, and I will be spending time with my family and friends, and I will be having some peace, like mental peace. And I will be, let's say, for example, my physical health is going to improve. But so I took that decision. I came back to my home country and I started a business. Unfortunately, the business took it all and we failed at it pathetically. But now again, I'm at this point of life where I need to take a decision again that is going like staying in my home country going to help me or should I move out? So this, I think I'm going to do one more time this exercise. Let's say, for example, I'm going to do it one more time and see what kind of results and what kind of pluses and minuses I get. So thank you very much for this.
You're welcome. I'm glad that it helped. And thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Paula?
Yeah, I wanted to ask if you can give, so what is the motivation to work out? Because for me also, I tried the same. I also signed and paid for a gym, and then I went maybe 3 times and then I didn't go anymore and I already paid for the whole year. But
That's how they make their money.
Yeah. But this is true because in my list is also health. Health is also important, movement, be healthy. But I cannot find motivation to work out, maybe because I found it boring. I don't like it.
So I think you answered one thing right now. Gym maybe is not your jam. Maybe you want to find something that answers more of criteria of what you like to do and find a sports that you really enjoy doing or workout that you like doing. I don't know if it's yoga or Pilates or whatever it is, running. Do you like nature? So those were things that motivate you to go. Maybe when you're right now seeing the gym, it makes you feel like, ugh, I don't want to go. So that might be one. And a big one is just change the wording that you're saying to yourself. I'll give you an example, and I gave it before. It's so simple with working out. There is a difference when I say to myself, I need to work out. I need to be healthy. I have to go work out. When I say this, and this is how we work with images and movies in our head. When I say this right now, all I see is myself under the covers, really don't want to get out of bed and have zero motivation to actually go work out because the word need and have to, our brain hears, I don't want to do it. This is what our brain subconsciously hear. So when you use those words, I took them completely out of my vocabulary versus I want to go work out or I'm excited to go work out. What happens now is I see myself either in the middle of workout feeling great or after it where I'm already finished and now I'm happy with myself because I feel great. So even if you say it out loud, I want to go work out versus I have to go work out, your unconscious mind hears completely different things. So the image that will come will be positive. And if the image is positive, there's more chances you're actually going to do it. Was that helpful?
Yeah. But the challenge is also constancy, because maybe I can find something that I like more, like Pilates or yoga, then I do maybe 3 weeks, 2 weeks, and then I quit because I don't have this constancy to do every week.
So in order for something to become a habit, I think now they lowered it, but you need to do it about 66 times. So it's 22 days for the old habit to disappear, another, don't quote me on the numbers, it's something like this, and then to the new habit to be formed. So another thing I can suggest you commit to do 3 months in something you like. Because if you go to Orange Theory like I did and I hated it, that's not going to help. But commit yourself to something you like, give it 3 months, and then reevaluate and change the wording inside of you. Like, how do you use it? I want to go work out. I'm committed to go work out because it's going to make me feel better, because it's going to make me live longer, because whatever it is for you, I'm going to be healthier. I'm going to lose weight. Everybody has different things. So that would be a suggestion that I think would help.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thanks.
You're welcome. Evelyn?
Hi, good morning. Thank you for the seminar. I want to ask you a question. How do you use this approach? What happens to me is that when I get so many multiple options to how to go forward in a decision, it freezes me to choose among so many options. So I don't know if you could have some advice.
Can you give me an example?
Yes, it could be even small decisions like buying a phone, which sends me against multiple, but oh, joining the gym. Oh, there's so many options. What can I do? So the thing freezes me is the multiplicity of options.
Which I think happens to all of us because this era is so full of information. And so I remember wanting to buy a washer. There's so many freaking washers over there that I don't want to buy one because I don't want to make the wrong decision. Because I don't know which one is the best, and I want the best, and I want it to be in the best price, and I want to make sure nobody is like ripping me off, but I also want the one that everybody thinks is good. And so there's too much that it makes it hard to make a decision. And this is where you can go. This wheel of life, it's for big decisions. But if you go, for example, to a washer, you can write what are your criterias. I just put a washer. Let's say it's a gym, right?
Okay.
Choosing between gyms, would that be an example for you? Give me something that you can use.
I would use, a good example is buying a phone. So your approach, this one is for big decisions.
Yeah, but now take it to small ones. It's just you're not going to use those because it's not going to change. Getting a new phone, not going to change your mental health, probably. It's not going to help you with your physical environment. So those are for big decisions. But for something like that, take this. It's the same thing. Now the criteria change. So if you want to buy a new phone, what does it have to, what's the price tag you want on it? What companies do you like? Which companies you believe in? You trust them? Who's got whatever criteria is for you? Does it have to have the best camera because you're taking pictures? So now you eliminated a lot of phones out there because you wanted to have a really good camera. So you're starting to hone down on what you want. So what criteria needs to be answered in order for you to exit and buy that phone? Maybe the memory, maybe the appearance of it. So now you're starting to have 4 phones to choose from and 3 phones to choose from. And now maybe how it looks and how much is the case? Is it on sale? Is the carrier is good? So everything you do, you can take the same model and see if it answers your criteria, and then you can make a decision. Was that helpful?
Yes. Yes, I think for me, this phasing, like, for example, I'm having a health problem and choosing a doctor has been hard. And I change. But I guess what you said about giving them also, even for big decisions, give a try period. When you say do it for 2 or 3 months and see if it works, but you need to stick. That I think what is your answer to the other one?
Yeah, that was like working out. Big decisions, I don't know, because if you're moving to a new country, you can give it 3 months and see what happens and then move back, because that would be a little bit, that I would not suggest that. Then all of you are gonna come back to me and say, what was that suggestion? But yeah, in general, for working out, it's usually yes. For decisions that is habit change, I would usually recommend do 3 months, because this is where the habit starts to change, and then reevaluate. So that was for habit change.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I think we're over a little bit. Any aha moments, guys? Something you want to share? Anybody has any more questions?
Maybe just the last thing you say now with moving, okay, this is a big decision. But even there, it's okay. If we say, okay, give me 3 months, and then if I don't feel so good, it's in big decision. It's a bit bad to come back, but
There is no bad or good. It's for you. It depends on what is on the line for you. Everybody is different. If I'm right now, I don't know, a millionaire, and I can take 3 months of my life to move to a new place because it's not going to affect my financial. And all I have to do is just move. And then in 3 months, see if I like it or not, sure. But if I need to move and I need to spend all of my resources, start again, and then it's probably not a good move. So it really depends on where you are in life and what are your needs and what are your resources. So it really depends. It's very personal to each one of us.
yeah.
Yeah, but in general, it's positive if you tried it. Then it gives you a lot of info.
What do you mean? Can you elaborate?
No, okay. If she says, shall I do it? Shall I come back? Blah, blah, blah. So that you will never know if you stay. If you go, it gives you info. Then it can be a horror afterwards, but you tried.
Yeah. It's again, we're going to that same place. It's just
Yeah.
making a decision. And usually, I think we talked about it, me and Kathy before, you make a decision and somehow everything falls into place. Once you make a decision, all of a sudden, all of the resources and all of the things you need appear. They come to you almost. It's almost like you attract them all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
about the intention. I agree with
Yeah.
that. That's the intention is there. The planet helps you.
Yeah, the planet helps you. All the resources will find you all of a sudden. It's really what happens. It's your unconscious mind is all of a sudden open to new things, where before you were just with your blinders. So you weren't open to accept new things. So universe will help you, definitely. I had one question here.
Well, can I say something quickly?
Yeah.
What I think I've gathered, even though I've been part of the workshop myself and hope you build it and test it. My takeaway is, yes, amazing approach, of course, for these big decisions. So you can really look at it, bring it to your conscious mind. But then when you look at the tote model, which might be very new for you guys, it's like we all stay in the loop of not making a decision. So maybe break it down to, okay, I don't need to do my whole life wheel. Let's look at the criteria. And now if you just write down some criteria, you're exiting tote, you're exiting the loop. And now you're making your smaller decisions either faster or better or whatever you're looking for in your life. And then to add something, because I know working out's a big topic for people, or all these like more main topics. Me lately, because I've gone through a lot of personal growth in the past 2 years, I've been very more into my intuition lately and feelings that I have more space for it. And I had an interesting moment. Ro knows like every detail of my life, but I've been considering a babysitter. I'm a single mom. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should get help. Maybe I should rely less on her dad because not consistent. And I haven't made the decision. I've been on the fence. Do I get a babysitter so I can do more work? Do I get a babysitter so I can go on a date? I couldn't like make that choice. I recently got to play beach volleyball, which is my favorite thing. I already know that. I walked away from that experience just in the car thinking, you know what? I would get a babysitter so I could play beach volleyball. If that ever happened, it might not even be the case. So all of a sudden my mind went on a feeling that's a guaranteed thing that I love, that I know I like doing. I don't know if it's like a workout that will change my body, but I know it keeps me like present. It's a feeling. I love it. I will do anything to play beach volleyball every day if I could. So now I like, my mind has understood that would be a value to me to get a babysitter and spend $20 an hour or whatever it is to go do something else I know is like a guaranteed good feeling. And that's how I've been making more of my decisions lately. I hope that example made sense really quickly. So yes, the babysitter was the main choice, but I couldn't like exit my loop until I actually found something that it was really going to bring me like deep value.
It was worth it for you. So
Yeah,
you had
and
one thing
that.
missing in your criteria to make a decision, and that thing was bring you
Oh, yeah.
and a good feeling, which for you was playing volleyball, which I know answers so many things for you. It answers connection, fun, going out,
Active, being present.
active.
Your mind isn't anywhere else, which is peace.
So that was a great
Yeah.
example. Only when she found why hiring a babysitter would answer that feeling of value to her, she is ready to make the decision.
Yeah. And my brain just took me there. I just had a good 3 hours. I was with family. I did all these things. And then I'm in the car. That's my first thought. Oh, I would get a babysitter for this. I'm like, why am I even thinking about that? Okay. It took a few more minutes and it made sense why my brain immediately connected that when I've been looking at a babysitter for like 4 months. So talk about a loop.
So what
the
Kathy
decision.
said now, take this workshop and understand how we do things in our head, because those are the big moments. Kathy just told you something very simple for you guys right now. Okay, what's the big deal? She's gonna go and play volleyball, and for that, it's worth it for her to pay for a babysitter. But when we start understanding our process in our head, it makes so much sense why we're making a decision or not. And then again, we're out of a loop, but we also have a lot more compassion to ourselves, because now it makes sense to us why we're not making a decision or why we are making a decision. And we can also now work through it and understand if we want to make this decision or not. And what is the price, right? Here, there's a price. Every decision has a price. Over here, she's going to pay money, but it's worth it for her. So it just brings everything into your conscious mind so you can start practicing it. So take this formula and I suggest start practicing it on simple stuff. So you're going to start doing it unconsciously. So it's going to become part of a process. You're going to notice it right away. That would be my suggestion for you. And we are definitely over. Somebody wrote over here, as a Christian, spirituality, my relationship with God plays a major role in my decision-making process, from really big life-altering decisions to small ones that could have sometimes even have more impact. So this is one of your criterias, this spiritual guiding, which is, it's part of your criteria. That's amazing. You have another criteria that you're listening to. I think it's awesome. But I don't want to, we're way over, guys. I hope you enjoyed it and you had aha moments and it helped you. And if you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out. I am going to share my, where is it? Why am I not saying anything? Hold on. Perfect. Can you see that? Yes. So if you need me or anything, those are my handles. If you want to reach out, ask me anything you want. And that's it, guys. Thank you for showing up and taking the time to invest in your personal growth. Until next time.
Thank you, Ro.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
You're
Thank you very
welcome.
much.
Bye.
Yes. Thank you. Bye.